Good morning, all of you. So the agenda for today's class is we will have a look at file attributes and permissions, and then we will go ahead with have a look at a couple of filter commands in Unix operating system. Okay, so if you try to recollect, earlier I had told that in the world of Unix, at the outer level, there will be two people who are working. One is the administrator and other one is the programmer. Then at the next level, when we discuss about the programmers who are working, we have three types of people who work. That is actually based on or associated with the files that is actually created by the programmer. And you know very well, those three programmers are owner, group, and others. And we have also seen associated with every file, there are three permissions: the read, write, and execute permissions, right? So we have group, owner, and others, and at the same time we have read, write, and execute permission. So let me just take up a particular file. Okay, so I have this file in my current working directory called as test, which is, and this is the long listing of the file. So when you closely look at the first field of the long listing of the file, excluding the starting character, that is hyphen, if you look closely, it says that you have read and write permission for the owner, read permission for group and others, right? Now, what actually this file attributes and permission deal with? In fact, file attributes are the settings that are basically associated with the computer files. With the computer files means it can be the files that are actually generated by you as a programmer, or probably any other programmer who is there in your group, or who has got a relationship with you as others. So the file attributes are nothing but the settings associated with these type of files, which basically grant or deny also, I can say, because sometimes I do not want to give permissions to the people who are working in Unix operating system. So that is why I also say that you can also deny the permissions, right? So it all depends upon how the programmer or probably the operating system want to access the files, right? And that is extremely important, because I have also said earlier that if at all there is some sort of a damage with your files, ensure that you don't blame anybody. It is actually your responsibility to ensure that the files are all safe. Okay, so the file attributes and permissions basically deals with such type of things, right? So we have also seen that the three types of files are read, write, and execute. Now from the effective security point of view, right, Unix divides the authorization level, right? We call it as authorization level of security into two levels. The first one is called as ownership, and the second one is actually called as permission, right? Now the significance of these two terminologies is who is the owner of the file and what are the permissions that are available to that particular file. Now ownership is straightforward. Say for example, if I am a programmer and you can see very well on the screen there is a file called as test. So that particular file test is actually created by me. So obviously I become the owner, and more or less I have also logged in my login. So I am the owner of that. But the permission, which basically acts as the second authorization level in the world of Unix, it deals with the three people and the three permissions. And you know very well, we have read and write permission for me as a owner. I have given read permission to the people who belong to my group, and also I have given read permission to all people who are basically having a relationship with me as others. Now what is very important is how do I go about changing the file permissions. Now, this is very, very important. And if you do not understand this very clearly, if you do not have grip on this, then any amount of damage that happens to your file, you are actually responsible. So when I talk about this file permissions, basically what happens is Unix allows the programmer to change the default file permissions that is already given as a part of Unix. There are some default permissions that are assigned to your files. It can be an ordinary file, or it can be a directory file also. So the default permission will come after some time, but the precondition is that you must be the owner of the file. That means in order to change the file permission, you should be the owner, right? Now what it means, now you have that file called as test, and you people who act as others to me, I have given you read permission. So basically in your login, you people can see the contents of my file called as test. But you cannot do anything else to that particular file because I have not given you either write permission or execute permission. So any attempt made by any one of you to delete my file, okay, say for example, rm test. If you issue this particular command in your login, then it will not work, provided the file test you are trying to access, the one that is created by me. Be careful, if the file created by you is also having the same name, test, then it gets deleted. But then I'm talking about the file that is created by me as a owner, and you are trying to access it as a others, or somebody else is also trying to access it as a group. Because I have not given you right permission, neither you people nor any member from the group can delete my file. At the same time, suppose if this is a C program file or probably C++ file, you cannot even execute it because I have not given you execute permission, right? So changing the permissions is the sole authority, the sole privilege of the owner himself or herself. So you can change the permission of any file that you have created. That is the bottom line conclusion. Okay. Now let us see how these file permissions can be changed in the world of Unix. I want you to just make a note. Please have your pen and paper ready. Okay. Take down. Unix supports two ways of changing file permissions. Unix supports two ways of changing file permissions. Okay. The first one is symbolic mode. That is the first one. And the second one is absolute mode. First one is the symbolic mode and the second one is absolute mode, right? Now let us take down the first one, that is symbolic mode, right? Now let us try to understand how do we give permissions using symbolic mode in Unix operating system. Now whatever I'm trying to tell you in terms of symbolic mode and absolute mode, it works even on all flavors of Unix, whether it is Linux or Ubuntu or Red Hat or Knoppix or Fedora, right? The syntax and the working is exactly similar. So the first one is symbolic mode, right? Just make a note. CHMOD stands for change permission mode. CHMOD stands for change permission mode. Okay. Now this is a command, right? Which one? chmod. Okay. Chmod is a command which allows the programmer to change the permissions of a file. Okay. I repeat, chmod is a command which allows the programmer to change the permissions of the file. Now this can be done in two ways, symbolic and absolute. Now look at the syntax of symbolic mode. So you have the command chmod, next you have who, then you have opcode mode, and then you have file. So this is the syntax, right? Chmod followed by who, followed by opcode mode, and then you have file name, right? Now don't get confused with this who. This is a parameter for the chmod command, which is not a command by itself, right? So we have already seen long back there exists a command in world of Unix which is called as who, which basically lists all the users, right? So don't get confused with this who, which acts as a parameter, with that who which acts as a command, right? Now let us see the significance of each one of this. Where who stands for, make a note, who stands for, there are different versions of who. First one is W, which belongs to file owner. I'm sorry, U, which belongs to file owner. Next, G belongs to group. I have O, which belongs to others. I can club everything and call it as A, which is called as all, right? So WHO can take any of these four, U, which stands for file owner, G for group, O for others, and A for all. Now let us look into what are opcode modes. There are two opcode modes. One is plus, which says add permission, and the second one is minus, which says remove permission. Okay. So opcode modes, we have two, add permission and then remove permission. I'm sorry, opcode only, not mode. This is only opcode. Okay. And the last one is that is called as mode. These are three things. R stands for read, W stands for write, and X stands for execute, which we have already seen. Associated with every file, there are three permissions: read, write, and execute. Okay, so this is called as symbolic way of changing the permissions. Okay, now let us understand this with an example. So I'll come back to the dollar prompt. Okay, now these are the permissions. When you look at this particular file test, as I said earlier, I have read and write permission for owner, read permission for group, and read permission for others. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, let us say I want to remove, okay, I want to remove the read permission from group and others. Okay, I want to remove the read permission from group and others. Okay, so make a note of it. You can take down the long listing of this file test. You don't need to take down the entire long listing, just take down the file permissions with the first character which belongs to ordinary file. So you can make a note this much, and then also make a note that owner has got read write permission, group has got read permission, and others has got read permission. Okay, so I am going to remove the read permission for group and others. So that is the application. I am going to remove the read permission for group and others. So let us go with the syntax. The first part of the syntax is the command that is called as chmod. Okay, so this is the command. What's the next part of the syntax? WHO, right? WHO, that is the type of the people, whether it is group or owner or others, right? Now, what was the task? The task is to remove read permission from group and others. So group stands for G, O stands for others. Understand? Okay. Go slow. Chmod is a command. G stands for group. O stands for others. Okay. Since I am not involving owner in this particular application, I am not using the character called as U, right? So if owner is also involved, I can say UGO, or I can also say A, right? So that is how the nomenclature is, right? So since I am removing the read permission for group and others, I have written G and O. Okay. Then what is next? Next syntax is opcode, where plus stands for add permission and minus stands for remove permission. Since I have to remove the permission, I will put minus. Okay. Since I have to remove the permission, I will put minus. And which permission you want to remove? Read permission. So I will say R. Understand? Okay. Since I have to remove the read permission, I will say R. So I will sum up this. The significance of GO minus R. Okay. Artha ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ. The significance of GO minus R is remove, minus means remove, R means read, G means group, O means other. So I am summing up. Remove the read permission from group and others. Which file? File test. Got it, all of you? Remove the read permission from group and others from the file test. Now I am going to press enter key. Tell me what will I get in the next line. I am going to press enter key. Type your answer in the chat box. What will I get in the next line? So I have 3, 4 already answered. Good. So whoever has answered except one, rest all have said correctly, you will get $prompt. Please understand, I am only instructing the operating system to change the permission. Ashtene, right? I am not asking him to do anything else. That is why I get a $prompt. Okay. Now let us see whether this particular command chmod, which we gave now, has really worked or not. Now you see the output. The read permission for group and others is removed. Just go through this for 2 seconds. Don't ask me any questions now. Okay. Now, next question in the chat box. Does the owner have read permission? Listen carefully. Does the owner have read permission? That's the question. I hold on. Don't type it. I'll put it. Does the owner have read? And now type your answer, please, so that the question also gets recording actually. Earlier only your answers were getting recorded because I had not typed in the chat box. Okay, so that's good. All of you have given the correct answer. The owner has got a read permission. So I'm going to say cat test. Beautiful. I got the output. I'm able to read the contents of the file. But at this point of time in your login, if you people make an attempt to read the contents of the file, you will get an error message called as permission denied. For simple reason, I have removed Athwa. Others do not have read permission for my file called as test. Okay. Now watch out what I am doing. Chmod. Okay. U minus RW test. Okay. I am giving chmod u minus rw test, which means remove read and write permission from owner. Understood? Remove read and write permission from owner. Okay, so let us see the impact of this. As usual, I'll get a dollar prompt, and then I will look at the long listing of the file, and that is suicide actually. Okay, this is absolute suicide. Watch out now. I am the owner who created this file test, and now I will make an attempt to read the contents of the file. And then OS gives you a beautiful love letter line called as permission denied. So that's the type of role that Unix plays. I told you earlier that Unix always treats every person working with him is the most intelligent person in this world who knows exactly what you are doing. And if you have removed the permission, athwa if I as a owner have removed the permission for myself and I make an attempt to read the contents of the file, Unix will not care even me also. In fact, Unix will not care anybody in this world. It only goes with keeping its security mechanism in mind. Now with this particular situation of ls minus l, let me assure you that it is practically impossible for me to read the contents of the file. As a matter of fact, nobody, correct, owner, group or others can read the contents of this particular file. Okay, but at the same time there's nothing to worry about it because this file belongs to me who has created it, and I as the owner have removed the permission, and since I can remove the permission, I can also add the permission. Okay, so I will say chmod, I will say u plus r plus test. Got it? So plus means add the permission, add the read permission to the owner for the file test. And then I'll say ls minus l. You can see the presence of the character r. And now I'll say cat test. I can read the contents of the file. Okay. So this is the type of role that Unix provides in terms of file attributes and file permissions. Okay. And this is how basically you can change the permission in Unix with the help of symbolic mode. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can raise your hand or you can ask the question in the chat box. Okay, so no, I don't think anybody is having doubts. Okay, good. Let us proceed with the next way of trying to give the permissions for the file, right? Just make a note. That is called as absolute mode. Right? The second one is called as absolute mode. Okay, so just make a note. This particular mode is based on octal numbers. This particular mode is based on octal numbers, that is 0 to 7, right? 0 to 7. The octal values are as follows. For read it is 4. For write it is 2. For execute it is 1. Okay. So for read it is 4. For write it is 2. For execute it is 1. Right. Now comparatively, absolute mode is the simple way of giving file permissions compared to your the first one, that is called as symbolic mode. Right. Now everything purely depends upon the octal numbers of the permissions that you want to give. Let us look at the syntax of the absolute mode. So you have chmod, that's the command, followed by the octal values, followed by the file. Okay, so the syntax is very simple, right? Chmod in case of absolute mode takes only two parameters. The first parameter is the octal values and the second parameter is a file. Whereas in case of symbolic mode, the number of parameters are actually double compared to the absolute mode. Okay, so let us see directly with an example how I can change permissions for a particular file using absolute mode. So let me look at the long listing of the file called as test1, right? So I still have read. So I have file test and test1. So maybe what I can do is I can go for file test. So which has got only read permission. So I will use the absolute method of assigning the permissions to this file. I will say chmod, okay, chmod followed by the octal values followed by the file name. Now be careful, the octal values is actually a 3-digit number. Okay, listen carefully. The octal values will be the 3-digit number. Actually, I am talking about the first parameter of chmod command. It is a 3-digit number. Okay, so theoretically we tell a 3-digit number, but actually they are 3 different digits. But you cannot have a space, between the digits. It should be one after the other, and hence I just tell it as a number. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing is what numbers you are going to write. You are going to write the digits of this number in the form of or either from 0 to 7. That's the range. Octal values 0 to 7. Right? Now before that, let us try to understand what permission you want to give to the people who are working, whether it is owner or group or others. Right? Now let us say I want to give read and write permission for owner. Okay? So listen carefully. I want to give read and write permission for owner. Then I want to give read permission for group, and I want to give read permission for others. Okay. The application is this. I want to have read and write permission for owner. I want to have read permission for group, and I want to have read permission for others. Okay. So the first one is you want to have read and write permission for owner. What you should do is you should add up the octal values of the permissions that you want to give. Read is 4 and write is 2, and hence the addition of this is 6. Getting all of you? You need to add up the octal values of those permissions which you want to give. Now here I want to give read and write permission for the owner, and read permission is 4, write permission is 2. So addition of both will be 6. So I write it as 6. Right? Then you wanted read permission for group, which is 4. Read permission is 4, so I write 4. And you also want read permission for others, so I write 4. Okay. Now the beauty of this is by default across the globe on any flavor, if you write 644, or as a matter of fact any 3 digits, right? It doesn't matter as long as it is 0 to 7. 644, the first digit will always be for the owner. Ido 6. 6 is always for the owner in this case. The first digit is always for the owner. Second digit is always for the group, and the last digit is always for others. This is universal truth. You cannot change it. Now when you look at this 644, you cannot say that 6 belongs to group. It is impossible in the world of Unix. Please understand, right? The first digit always belongs to owner, the second digit always belongs to group, and the third digit always belongs to others, right? And on which file? File test, right? So now see, 644 is very simple to read, very simple to understand, and very simple to execute as compared to your what is that, U, G, plus, minus, R, W, right? All those things. So of course, there is no standard methodology to be kept in mind by any programmer to change the permissions, right? It all depends upon your comfortability level. Either you can use symbolic mode or you can use absolute mode. Okay, I am more comfortable with absolute mode, so I always use absolute mode of changing the file permissions. Okay, now let us see the impact of this 644. Now watch out carefully. Right, so I have got read and write permission for owner, read permission for group, read permission for others. Okay. Now the only thing is, sometimes they call it as a drawback of absolute mode, that you have to give a 3-digit number, right? Whether it is for giving the permission or whether it is for removing the permission. So basically what happens is, the existing permission will become null and void, and then 644 sits on that. Okay, so that is the ideal way how we can say absolute mode works. Unlike in your symbolic mode, which basically tries to add to the existing permissions, Atwa tries to remove from the existing permissions, right? So this is basically, if you ask me or if somebody asks me, I will put it like this. The absolute mode is actually overwrites what is your existing permission, right? A simple way of telling is absolute mode overwrites your entire permissions which is already existing, right? So I'll have a question in the chat box and then I'll type it as a dollar. The question is, can I write chmod 000 test? Okay, so that's my question. Write the answer in the chat box. For this, can I write chmod test? Don't worry about the spelling, right? In the chat box, don't worry about the spelling. So I have one answer. Now somebody has given an answer in a different way. Try to understand the question. My question is, can I give chmod 000 test? So the answer should be either yes or no. Okay. 18CS23. Can you tell me why no? 18CS186. Can you tell me why no? Please type your answer in the chat box. Brandon, you have also said no, right? May I know the reason why you can't give? Right, Brandon? It's a democratic country, man. I can give whatever I want. Okay, so 18CS23 has taken back the answer with a slight confusion. That is good. No problem. That's fine. I have another answer from 18CS21 which says that owner can't change the permission. I mean, I don't know why are you telling this. Owner can change the permission, boss. Who else will change the permission, right? I am the owner of the file test. I have every right to change the permission, correct? My question is not that. See, owner can change the permission, right? That is the initial discussion. My question is, can the owner give 000? Of course, it is given by the owner only, right? Whatever is being done here now in front of you on the screen is being done by me as a owner of this particular dollar prompt, as a owner of this login, right? So, question is very simple. ನಾನು 000 ಕೊಡಬಹುದಾ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Okay. CS 186 did not answer. CS 37 also told no. Okay, so fine. I don't need to be sorry, right? I don't. We are all in a learning stage, so I don't want anybody to say sorry. Okay, fine. So it takes from 0 to 7, so I can give 0. Fine, very good. Sir, for read, write, and execute permissions, the only numbers allowed are 4, 2, 1. And that is the reason you cannot give 0. Okay, good thinking, correct? But let me also ask you, right? If you give 4, correct, what does it mean? It means read permission, correct? If you give 2, it means write permission. And if you give 1, yeah, tell me, 186, please answer. If you give 1, what happens? Correct, execute permission, correct tane? Ivaga I don't want to give anything, correct? So if I don't want to give any permission, tell me honestly, can I give 1, 2? Correct, I cannot give. Can I give a combination of this? 4 plus 1 5 or 2 plus 1 3 or 4 plus 2 6? Can I give a combination of this? I cannot give. See, no. See, you're getting confused with the question 186. The question is, I don't want to give any permission. No. Aita, ಈಗ ನಾನು combination ಕೊಟ್ರೆ 4 plus 1 as 5, that means I am giving the permission. See, if I give 4 plus 1 as 5, it means what? I am giving read and execute permission, correct? That is fine, but I don't want to give permission, correct? So when I don't want to give permission, logically thinking, right? Don't add anything. Artha aita? Don't add anything. But then you have to follow the syntax. You just cannot say, anyway, Gupta sir said don't add anything, so ನಾನು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, and Unix is intelligent enough, he will remove all the permission. No, he will give you error message, right? So you have to be very careful when you're working with Unix. So the whole idea is, I will give chmod 000 test, which indicates that don't give any permission to all these 3 personalities in the world of Unix, right? And see the beauty of this. Now I will say ls minus l, I have removed the permission. So cat test, as usual, it will give me permission denied, right? Okay, now watch out carefully. This is more worst scenario in the world of Unix. chmod 077, correct? So what is the significance of chmod 077? Type your answer. What is the significance of chmod 077 to the file test? Okay, so somebody says group and others are given read and write permission. Somebody says all 3 is given to group and others. Owner papa, avangenu illa. Okay, fine. All right, so all of you are read and write along with execution is available. That is true, but whom? Read and write along with execution is available, but yarge? Okay, for group and others. Good. All right, somebody says read, write, execute permission given to group and others. Fantastic. So this is basically a high level suicide alva. Huh? Nothing for me as a owner, but nimge elrigu ella kotbutidini. Correct. And see the beauty of it. Can I say cat test? No. Can I say RM test? So the beauty of this is how Unix works. But then, since I have given you the read permission, the you people as others can read the file. Okay. So this is how basically your file attributes and file permissions work in Unix operating system. Okay. So before we venture further, right, let me know if you have any doubts, please. Okay. Uh, okay, there's a question here. I have seen people using A plus R. Okay, let me write it for the benefit of others. I have seen people using A plus RWX. So what is it? I mean, it is straightforward. Try to look at the syntax of your, what is that, symbolic mode, correct? Your symbolic mode where A stands for all. All means owner, group and others, right? So A plus RWX andre add, read, write and execute permission for all. All means group, owner and others. So it is something like 777. Okay. It is something like 777. Okay. There is one more question. Can we give chmod, sorry, can we give chmod 111 test? You can give, no problem. Let us give, what does it say? What is the significance of one? The significance of one is what? Execute, correct. So what you are trying to say from this is give execute permission to group, owner as well as others. Kodi, yar badandro? ls minus l test chmod 111 test. Right? So you have execute permission for all the three, right? So execute permission you should give, but it should make some sense because for this file test, what execute permission you will give? Of course, I cannot display the contents because this is a simple English text, right? So execute has got no meaning, right? So execute permission should be given to only program files, right? So I cannot execute this particular file. Okay, good. Any other doubts, please? Okay, so let us proceed further and have a look at one more command so that the file attributes and permissions gets cleared, right? Take down next command umask. Umask. Okay, hold on. Just 1 second. Somebody has asked me a question. What will happen if I give like this? Great. See HMOD 944 test. Correct. See the octal values, when you add all the three octal values, the highest you can get is 7. Ashtene. That is why it is, see octal is to the base 8 and that is why it is from 0 to 7. 0 means no permission. In Mickey, whatever permission you want, you just add it up, right? So you cannot give any number beyond 7. 8 bada durud prashna, sorry, 9 is very far. You even can't give 8. Agala. Okay, so it should be only between 0 to 7. Ashta, ನೀವು ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿ, he will not entertain it. Okay, right? So let us come back. The next command, umask, stands for, umask stands, So umask, you can say, stands for user file creation mask. Okay, stands for user file creation mask, which is used for determining default permission, for new file creation. Default permission for new file creation. Okay, just make a note. When you create file and directories, the default permissions that are assigned, to them depends on system default settings. Full stop. These default permissions are inherited. By files and directories created by all users. I repeat the entire text. Stands for user file creation mask, which is used for determining the default permission for a new file creation. When you create file and directories, the default permissions that are assigned to them depends on system default settings. These default permissions are inherited by files and directories created by all users. Okay, continue. 666, this is for regular files, and 777, this is for directories. Okay, 666 for regular files and 777 for directories, right? However, these are not the permissions. Which one? 666 and 777. Okay, I'm talking about 666 and 777. However, these are not the permissions you see when you create a file or a directory. Okay. Now watch out. I will create a file. I hope I don't have a file called as test2. Okay. So what I do is I'll create a file called as test2, and I will not type any contents. That's fine. I just say Control D, and then I will say test2. Right. Now watch out carefully. What I had told was 666 for regular files. Correct. They are not the permissions when you create a file or a directory. You look at the permissions of test2. It is actually 644. Right. So what 666 you wrote is not the permissions that you see when a new file is created. Right. It has got its different meaning. Right. So just make a note. This is the place where UMask comes into picture. This is a place where the UMask comes into picture. It is a kind of filter. It is a kind of filter wherein we can choose to retain. Be careful. It is a kind of filter wherein we can choose to retain or block some of the default permissions. Block some of the default permissions from being applied on the file. I repeat, this is the place where UMask comes into picture. It is a kind of filter where we can choose to retain or block some of the default permissions from being applied on the file, right? So the question is how to find the UMask value. So what you do at the dollar prompt is you just say UMask. Okay, you just say UMask, which will tell you what is the UMask value set default. Here I am getting 0022. Okay, so we just ignore the first 0, in which case it is only 022. Okay, so now watch out carefully what I am telling. The UMask value is 022. Okay, so I am going to go to the editor. Now watch out carefully. Your UMask value was 022. Got it? Now, for regular file, what is the value? The default permission is 666. Watch out. For regular files, the default permission is 666. Okay? So, for regular files, default permission is 666. So what happens is whenever, okay, I'll put it very systematically for you. You can make a note for regular files. Default permission is 666. Now UMask is 022. Now what happens? 666 minus 022. Understand? Okay? 666 minus 022. I'll put it in a much better way. 666 022. Aita? So this is how the subtraction is done. But don't subtract 666 minus 22. Don't do 666 minus 22. Allah. It is individual digits. Okay. So 6 and 2, right, which is there in the units place. 6 and 2, and then tens place 6 and 2, and hundreds place 6 and 0. So when you subtract it, it becomes 644. Correct? Right? The leftmost digit 6 minus 0 is 6. Middle digit 6 minus 2 is 4. And the last digit, that is digit in the units place, that is 6 minus 2 is also 4. Okay. Now 644 is what? Read and write for owner. Alva. Read for group and others. Do you agree? Am I right? Read and write for owner, that is 6, and 44 is read for group and others. So watch out this 644 very carefully. Okay, 644. 4. I'm going to come out of the editor. We had created a file called as test2. See the permissions now. Right? So the default permissions given to a file is purely based on the umask value that is set, right? And this umask value can be set by the programmer, no doubt about it. But when you set it, it only is applicable to your own files. Okay. So since my umask value was 022, right? This 022 gets subtracted from 666 as far as ordinary file is concerned, and hence 666 minus 022 is nothing but 644. And hence what happens, whenever I create a new file, I will get the permissions to that particular file in the form of 644, right? Have a look at one more new file called as test3, right? I will just type some text, no worry. Now I will look at the long listing of the file test3. You will find 644, read, write and execute. Okay, so this is how basically umask works. Okay, and similarly for directory it will be 777 minus 022. Okay, so what is 777 minus 022? Please type your answer in the chat box. Hold on. 777 minus 022 is equal to what? Type your answer in the chat box. Okay, good. Yeah, so it is 755. Hey, not 055. Please check it out. Not 055. 7 minus 0 is 7, Raja. Then 7 minus 2 is 5, and again 7 minus 2 is 5. So it is 755 for directory, right? So what is 755? Everything for owner, correct? Read and execute for group and others. Okay, read and execute for group and others, right? So let us see. I create a file called as ABC, right? Then let me see the long listing of the files. Now watch out carefully. This is the file ABC, correct? This is a directory ABC, and if you look at the permissions for this, I have RWX, that is 7. Then I have R and X for group, that is 4 and 1 5, and again for others I have R and X, that is 4 and 1 5. So 7 5 5, and that is what you had told. 777 minus 022 is 755, which means all the permissions for owner and read and execute permission for group and others. Okay, so any doubts, please ask me in the chat box. Okay, so no doubts. So I think what we do is we will give a break for today's session because the next subtopic is filter commands, correct? Some beautiful and interesting and powerful commands are going to come on the way now for all of you. So in tomorrow's class, we will continue with the filter programs, and let me find out an appropriate time where we can also start shell programming. Okay. So thank you all of you, and take care of yourself.